Hello and Namaskar. Welcome back to the channel Stories of an Era Gone By. I am Dr. Shubho Chatterjee, and the story that I am going to narrate today is that of coffee. Coffee is one of the most popular beverages in the world today. And every day, around 2.5 million cups of coffee are consumed across the world. But when was coffee brewed for the first time? And who discovered this aromatic beverage? There's a very fascinating story behind its discovery. The year was 850 AD. An Ethiopian goat herder by the name of Kaldi, while tending to his goats, noticed his goats dancing, prancing, and gyrating in a bizarre and queer manner. Intrigued by the strange behavior of his herd, he set out to find the reason and discovered that his goats had devoured some bright red cherries. He soon realized that these fruits, if consumed, pump up the energy levels and help one keep awake. Ecstatic with his discovery, Kaldi gathered these bright cherries and ran to an Islamic Sufi monk with this unique gift. The Sufi monk was not at all impressed with this gift and threw the cherries into a pit of fire. No sooner had the cherries dropped into the fire, a captivating aroma billowed up from the pit and filled the air. The other monks in the monastery rushed to the spot, gathered the roasted beans from the pit, and dissolved them in hot water to produce the first cup of coffee man had ever tasted. Though this is the most commonly believed story of the discovery of coffee, there are two other accounts of how coffee was discovered. According to one of these stories, coffee was discovered by a Sufi saint in the 13th century. Story goes that a Sufi saint from Yemen, Gothal Akbar Nuruddin Abu al-Hasan al-Shadili, had gone to Ethiopia. While traveling through Ethiopia, he saw a very lively flock of birds eating some bright red cherries. On tasting these cherries, he felt very energetic and experienced the same vigor he witnessed in the birds. And this is how coffee is believed to have been discovered. Still another story says that coffee was discovered by Abu al-Hasan al-Shadali's disciple Omar. It is said that Omar, who had mystical healing powers, was once banished from Mocha in Yemen. While in exile, he took refuge in a cave in the desert. Famished and struggling and starving, he started looking for something to eat. He found some nice looking cherries, but the cherries had a very bitter taste. Desperate to quell his hunger, he roasted these cherries. But roasting made the fruits too hard to eat. Then, to soften these roasted cherries, he boiled them in water. A pleasant drink with a rich aroma and flavor was ready. This beverage not only gave him energy, but sustained him through the days. Soon, stories of this magical drink spread far and wide. Omar was called back from exile and was made a saint. By the 15th century, coffee was being widely used in the Sufi monasteries in Yemen to aid the Sufi monks to remain awake and focused during their prayers. It was during this time that people started associating coffee with Sufism. And it was during this period that the first coffee plantation came up in the world in Yemen. The Yemenis started exporting coffee from the port of Mocha. And by the 16th century, coffee as a beverage was known across the Levant and the Middle East. Many Orthodox preachers in the Mamluk dynasty and Ottoman dynasty believed coffee to be haram, owing to its invigorating nature and stimulating effects. Thus, by the orders of some influential imams in a theological court in Mecca in 1511, coffee was forbidden and banned. However, and Ottoman ruler Suleiman I lifted this ban in 1524, and coffee was again categorized as halal. A fatwa, the effect of which was very short lived, was also issued in Cairo in 1532 or 1533. This fatwa again established coffee and its consumption as haram, but the impact of this fatwa was very short lived. In the 17th century, coffee was exported from the port of Mocha to Italy through the port of Venice. From there, it spread to the rest of Europe. However, during the initial days, owing to the dark color of the beverage, the bitter taste of the drink, and its close association with Islamic culture, it was considered by many as a satanic drink. When some members of the Catholic Church implored the Pope to denounce this beverage, Pope Clement VIII insisted on tasting the drink before giving his verdict. Upon tasting this infamous beverage, Pope Clement VIII was enthralled by its rich aroma and flavor. He fell in love with it. It is said that he baptized the drink and said that it should be freely available for all to consume. Soon, coffee became popular across Europe, and coffee houses sprung up across the length and breadth of the continent. In the 17th century, when coffee was gaining a strong foothold in the European market, it stealthily entered into India and the Indian subcontinent. An Indian Sufi saint, Baba Budan, who had gone to Yemen, secretly brought some coffee beans to India in the year 1670. He planted these seeds in the hills of Chikmagalur in Karnataka, and thus began the production of coffee in India. In 1727, a Brazilian colonel named Francisco de Melo Patheta visited Guyana to obtain coffee seeds from the French to be planted in Brazil. After denial from the French authorities, he was somehow able to successfully coax the French governor's wife to secretly hand over some coffee seeds to him. This led to the beginning of coffee production in Brazil. And today, Brazil is the largest producer of coffee in the world. It has held on to this position for more than 150 years. Nearly 40% of the world's coffee comes from Brazil. Would you like to know where the word coffee comes from? It comes from the Ottoman Turkish word kavai, which in turn has been derived from the Arabic word kawa, that refers to a type of wine. Some believe that the word comes from Kaffa, the region in Ethiopia where coffee was first discovered, the region where Kaldi lived, and the region from which coffee was initially exported to Yemen. Thanks for showing interest in this channel and watching this video. This channel is about history and historical facts related to people, things, and places. In the next episode, I'll be coming up with another interesting story from the era gone by. So stay tuned for the next episode. If you liked this video, I would request you to press the like button and subscribe to the channel Stories of an Era Gone By with Dr. Shubho Chatterjee. Thanks for being here.